I've done many different collections, and one of them that had really inspired me was 50s hot rods. As I began to explain the idea with some of my friends, I thought, you know, Angus, this won't really translate well around the world. I was really inspired by a collection that Stephanie Kachowski had done, where she had applied shoes on top of the women's hair. It was very exciting, very avant-garde, and very Stephanie. It was then that I began to realize, what good man doesn't understand a women's shoes? Manolo Blahnik, Giuseppe Zanato, Christian Louboutin, and Stella McCartney. To me, this was a wonderful opportunity to be able to create something that could be avant-garde, exciting. These different designers represent different periods of time. Manolo Blahnik, who was in the 80s, his looks are quite classic, rolling into Louboutin, which was more the 90s. He was the first one to add that red sole. Giuseppe Zanato, one of those rebel people. When he was a young guy, he was a teen before he decided that that's what he wanted to do. And then, of course, there's Stella McCartney, who is trying to help the world become a better place by using alternative materials that are recyclable, reducing the amount of glue that's in her shoes. Just really has a great style and sense about her. I particularly like Giuseppe Zanotti because he is inspired through music. He really takes form meets function with different types of designs. He'll do a little twist, something a bit fantastic and different, adding Swarovski crystals and different gemstones. Quite beautiful, really, really impressive. My inspiration with Giuseppe Zanotti really started with the way that I created my haircut. First by horizontally creating the weight in the graduation, and then working with the graduation vertically, working down towards the nape, thinking about where the heel sits on the shoe, and then working the graduation vertically as if the heel would touch the ground. When I looked at the color aspect, there was a bit of disconnection within the haircut underneath, just layering through, and we did different color tone and palettes to help highlight the different depths of the shape itself, just as if he would do it in one of his shoes. The final look of my haircut perfectly fell right within that realm of being able to highlight the most beautiful parts about her. This look is such a great, classic, beautiful look. I think it's very commercial, but I think it's very important to interpret the look in different directions and in different ways. You can take the same application, the way that I cut the hair, and make it longer or make it shorter, again, to fit the suitability of your beautiful client. When I look at the whole collection of the different designers that we've used, we really have an arsenal of different types of personalities and different cultures, different time periods to help reflect the direction of where we're going with hair. So this is our 40th year anniversary. It just makes sense that we create this beautiful collection. You look at these different shoe designers and they've worked through different time periods and they're very relevant today. And when I reflect, it's just like John Paul and Paul Mitchell. They've changed the world through being able to create beauty, through education, through incredible products. You couldn't think of a better iconic brand as Paul Mitchell.
I like sneakers. I think I'm officially old school sneakerhead. So I used to go into the sneaker store and see all these beautiful colors and shapes and be able to buy any sneaker I ever wanted. That was a definition of success for me. And now I have probably over 150 plus pairs of sneakers. I think you can find art in anything. As an artist, you see how people put their passion and love and energy into anything. Angus is the best at that. He really gives us great inspirational ideas. It draws your brain a little bit bigger. You start to think in a different way. And then you start to get inspired by different things. And I think to do this collection for our 40-year anniversary is amazing. Our first designer was Christian Louboutin. The one thing I do know about that specific shoe and designer is that red bottom. And I think that's so classic. It's not something you see right away, but it's something that people look for.
So with that strong shape, we want to do something strong with the color as well, shiny, beautiful. We were thinking something a little bit deeper in those blues. Yeah, it's really pretty to look great in the sun. A little bit of a red peeking through. Most likely we'll be removing this, just so we can get that palette clean for the red. And then
For me to tie that into hair color, whether it's red or blue or green or blonde or anything, simply put that hidden more towards the bottom and just create a little fun or a little playfulness in all of our hair colors. So Stella McCartney, that's one I'm a little bit more familiar with. She's always doing these beautiful pastel, playful, modern spins on things. They're sophisticated, yet they're playful and tangible. I really connect with that designer the most because I feel like that's what type of hair colorist I am. I want to take traditional colors and mix and match them with fun. So there's a level of sophistication there, of playfulness as well. In addition to that, vegan friendly I think is really huge, and you're starting to see that translate in the hair world too. I've been vegetarian myself for 22 years. If that's important to you as to what you put in your body, it's also important as to what you put on your body. So that was a no-brainer for us to work with Color XG, which is also attainable. It is, you can have a really cool sneaker that functions, that performs, that draws a little bit of attention, but also supports you as a runner or whatever else you want to do.
The real skill in being a colorist is being able to take something that's in someone's head, communicate it properly, pull it out of their head and put it on their head. I mean, there's very few jobs in the world where somebody already has an idea of what it looks like done. We want to show people basically what they can create, and hopefully that inspires them as a starting point or as a jump off to create their own style.
Every idea, every concept, every color we launch, every product we launch is with the idea of someone being able to support their family by doing what they're good at, working with their hands. We provide stylists with real products that work in real situations that are affordable for real customers. Ever since 1980, Paul Mitchell's been doing things the right way. We are in alignment with the people, products, planet before that was even a statement. No animal testing, vegan friendly, I mean, you name it. This company's all about family and all about doing the right things. Our family isn't just the people that work at John Paul Mitchell Systems. Our real family is the salons that come to work every single day, that work their hardest to make each guest happy, one guest at a time. We all know how difficult that is. We are all about the professional hairdresser, and that starts at the very top from Angus and John Paul.
My grandfather used to say, shoes has the most important things. Angus kindly asked me if I was interested to be part of a collection. He always had in mind he wanted to create a collection based on shoes. And after a few days, I started to think about the collection, the relation I can find between hair and shoes, shape, silhouette, textures, and color. These four designers, they are very influential into the fashion world. Christian Louboutin, he took the stiletto to another level, make it much more longer. First of all, the shoes are very dramatic. It's about to give an appeal of sexy. And all his shoes, of course, like you know, is with the red paint. I think his work is phenomenal. So the Louboutin haircut, very clean, very minimal, with a lot of shine. It's very aggressive, very up there, it's very sexy. And that's what this Louboutin is about.
Just to be alive, just to be able to breathe is an inspiration nowadays. I keep my senses very open and absorb what really I'm attracted to. You understand? So what I like, what my eyes see, I zoom in. What my nose smells, I zoom in. Maybe whatever, if I touch something and I like it, I zoom in. You understand what I'm saying? Put my focus on that. At this point, is intuition. You must stay here. You don't think, you do it, you know?
I love Stella McCartney. It's very different than Louboutin. She wants to protect a lot of the hair. She decided to create a line where they don't use anything relating with leather. She wants to become like sustainable in some ways. She did her first real high-end design where actually 80% of the clothing are made of recyclable material.
The texture would call the organic side of this, I can see. Shape-wise, we want to have like an expansion on this. Talking about like a Black Panther type of ideas, you know, the texture coming out. We're gonna work something more rounded. Okay, it's not much losing so much the length here, because I like the length, it's fitting pretty nice with the jawline. I'm working more with the face structure. She's like an oval, so I want to work around that way. So I'm gonna open up to this area here.
Here we work in something a little bit more organic as a shape, because she likes to use organic material to create not only shoes, but also the clothing. Some particular hair textures is better to treat in a very organic way. So don't work so much technical, but work more in a free spirits way of cutting hair. It's a very versatile collection. We have two elements. The element can be very avant-garde, but you can take the element, transform it, you can bring into the salon environment. You still have the same type of feeling you can introduce to your clienteles.
I think the connection between shoes and hair is what we look at each day when we get up and get ready for the day. I'm inspired by Manolo Blahnik in the sense of the classic high heel. I think of royalty. There's a little different variances and styles coming into royalty. With this designer, you get a really nice, clean, simplistic, classic feel. As the time evolves, you'll see a little bit more punk inspiration coming through.
Definitely as far as placement, playing with the shape, blending into a little more depth in those wispier bits, and tying in that depth through the top as if color swooped through and just hit this layer.
The influence on this designer tying into the hair color is inspired to fit the needs of the guest. You'll see the color placement really fits that classic type of shape and making sure it has more of an organic feel to it as well. You can wear this design on any event you might be going to.
For me, it's really about that consultation and knowing the person I'm working on and kind of what their vibe, lifestyle, and wants and needs really inspires my end result. Like, I love doing this and it, is my craft and passion. Nothing makes me happier than seeing my guests more satisfied to have the new color or new haircut.
When I looked at Giuseppe Zanotti, you see a lot of high shine and strong blacks, but then very bold, rich golds tying in together in one design of a shoe. That gives you a strong sense of a juxtapose approach when you're looking at the shape of the cut as well as the tie into the color. Seeing a lot of the bold blacks and golds in his work, I thought immediately black and yellow, black and yellow. The respectful taste that both that strong, shiny black and that bold gold give to each other. They have a very good balance of the two when it's all put into the design of Giuseppe's work. We're looking back in time as far as the different artists we're inspired through in this collection. For all of our customers who've been loyal with us through Paul Mitchell the last 40 years and all of our brand new customers, I think that's a clear statement. They can make whatever it needs to be for their specific salon, their business, and for their customers. We'll help to get them where they need to be and give them everything it takes to get there.
My overall approach to styling this collection is true collaboration and a celebration of amazing shoe designers. I love being able to collaborate with amazing artists. The most important thing is to celebrate the cut and color first, and then putting my own spin on what I see in those different designers' kind of approach to their shoes. One of my favorite shoe designers, of course, is Christian Louboutin. I love all things French. I love all things sexy. Red bottoms. Everyone loves that. I think there's such a sexy, elegant structure. I really want to take that element, something very sleek, clean, with a nice structure, but of course showing off that red bottom that Colin's gonna put in. I love Manolo Blahnik. There's an eccentricness to the designer's work, but what I'm drawn to is its ability to evolve throughout time. I think the cut and color really expresses that. There's a little punk vibe to it. I want to enhance like those structure and the dimensions of color that's going to be placed into the hair. I really admire Giuseppe Zanotti's design. There's a sculptural aspect to his shoes, but also too, there's a luxurious sensuality that he combines with that structure. So definitely that's what I want to bring in that style with Angus's cut and that little underneath cutaway. So definitely I want to celebrate those two and have that in combination of structure and also luxury. What I love about Stella McCartney's design is there's a youthfulness to it. There's a strong voice, and you can totally see that she doesn't use any leather. I want to really draw attention to that. In the style, the model, she has amazing texture. So I want to embrace that, celebrate that curl, being natural, being a little bit more organic. What I see as the connection between shoes and hair, functionality and artistry. We needed to protect our feet. There's a function to it. These designers take that to a different level. There's creativity, and I think that's how I see styling hair. We do so many amazing artistic things with it. Short, up style, braid. It's just another way for us to take form and create. If you look at these amazing shoe designers, they've seemed to evolve throughout the time and adapt, and it ties in with us too. What Paul Mitchell and John Paul started with is amazing. The artistry and to benefit the professional stylists out there, and then being in tune with our message of being sustainable now. I think it's a great collaboration and it's a great fit.
One of my favorite quotes in doing the research was Marilyn Monroe, "Give a girl a great pair of shoes, she can rule the world." I've always been inspired by shoes. I'm a big fan of Sex and the City, so that's probably the first time I heard the Manolo Blahnik kind of story. One thing that really blew my mind, when he was 5 years old, he would eat Hershey's chocolate and make shoes out of the wrappers and put them on lizards. Later in life, when he started doing shoes, he recalled what he used to do as a baby, and I think that's what every person has to find. What you love doing as a child, try to do it in real life. It's very into nature and flowers, kind of very colorful point of view. For me, I'm trying to match that persona through the hair that we're doing and the color that we're doing.
Kind of taking some of the fatness here, keeping all the skirt to it, reversing it from behind, kind of A-lining so we get it into the frame. Kind of moving this into a kind of rounder shape higher and leaving this disconnected point through there that'll give us a little option on weight. If the disconnection, we could move it over, kind of getting a little bit more kind of barber style, getting that deep side part. And in my little mind, I almost see a shoe in it. Because there's a point, you know, so there's a little silhouette to it. You know what they call this? Is a moulé.
A moulé?
Yes, it's from Paul's.
My inspiration to connect to Manola was really to kind of look at the silhouette of a shoe. When you look at things from different angles, it changes in perspective. So there's a piece of my haircut that if you kind of subtract it on the side, you actually see a high heel and a shape, because there are some curvatures, almost like the arch of a foot. It's going to really relate to the shoe and design because there's not so much hair in play. It's really a small silhouette, like a sandal, if you will. And that peak tonus being the fringe and the outline to kind of bring her out to play. And I think that's going to be super fun. Heather and I, first thing we're going to do is lighten and brighten the hair, and then we're going to find a way to put the decorations in with color to kind of mimic some of the designs that he's into. Using shoes as an element relates to a lot of people in our industry. Me as the showman, I can't wait to turn it into a show to create misdirection and take elements that you would always associate with a certain shoe and then surprise the heck out of you when you see the reveal of it. But when you really think of fashion, it's about head to toe, and I think that we're putting the connection between the two. I see a great parallel that people will really connect into. And what I love about all the shoe designers we've picked up, some started in the 80s like we did, some started in the 90s, and they don't seem to get older, they seem to get more new. Paul Mitchell's a lot like that, having been there with Paul in the early days and to see where we are now. I would imagine if Paul was looking at his day, I think it went beyond his imagination. To me, it's about really celebrating with our customers, the people that brought us to the dance, and not so much dwelling on our past, but really focusing on our future. Where are we going? Whether you're a salon owner or a freelance hairdresser, an artist or a kid right in a Paul Mitchell school, we are promoting the future of the hair industry. When we say we're in the beauty industry, we really mean it.
Every good man knows a woman's shoes. So to think about how this would translate around the world, I thought that this would be the perfect idea. To me, this was a wonderful opportunity to be able to create something that could be avant-garde, exciting.
And each designer has a different decade. Manolo Blahnik is from the 80s, and Christian Louboutin for the 90s, Zanotti for the 2000s, and now we go focusing to the Stella McCartney.
For me as a stylist, what I see as the connection between shoes and hair is, I think, functionality and artistry. My overall approach to styling this collection is true collaboration and a celebration of amazing shoe designers.
So the Louboutin haircut is a very simple line, very minimalistic. It's really reflecting the style of the shoes. Very clean, very minimal, with a lot of shine.
The one thing I do know about that specific shoe and designer is that red bottom, and I think that's so classic. Giving that shape or giving your actual hair color a signature and just create a little fun or a little playfulness in all of our hair colors.
I think there's such a sexy, elegant structure to Christian Louboutin. I really want to definitely take that element, something very sleek, clean, with a nice structure, but of course showing off that red bottom that Colin's gonna put in to that hair shape.
The final look of my haircut, I think, really shows the suitability. First by horizontally creating the weight in the graduation, and then working with the graduation vertically, working down towards the nape, thinking about where the heel sits on the shoe and where the heel meets the ground.
When I looked at Giuseppe Zanotti, you see a lot of high shine and strong blacks, but then very bold, rich golds tying in together. I think that gives you a strong sense of a juxtapose approach when you're looking at the shape of the cut as well as the tie into the color.
So my inspiration to connect to Manola was really to kind of look at the silhouette of a shoe. So there's a piece of my haircut that if you kind of subtract it on the side, you actually see a high heel and a shape, because there are some curvatures, almost like the arch of a foot.
I love Manola Blahnik for its ability to evolve throughout time. There's a little punk vibe to it. I want to enhance like those structure and the dimensions of color that's going to be placed into the hair.
I can link between Stella and the look we achieved is really the beautiful organic feeling, very little bit raw in some ways.
I really connect with that designer the most because I feel like that's the type of hair colorist I am. I want to take traditional colors and mix and match them with fun, so there's a level of sophistication there, but playfulness as well.
With the model, she has amazing texture, so I want to embrace that, celebrate that curl, being natural, being a little bit more organic, and I think that's really in tune with her design.
And as we're rolling into our big celebration, it just makes sense that we create this beautiful collection.